Hi, Todd VanDenburg here with VanDenburg Capital Management and another Uncommon Sense update. So today is April 1st, it's April Fool's Day, and to be clear, nothing that I talk about in today's update will be an April Fool's joke. It's all going to be serious, so apologies in advance if it's too serious. I want to cover two topics today. Both are really important, so please bear with me if this video is a little bit longer than normal, but there really is information in here that's important for everybody. So the first thing that I want to talk about is one of the biggest questions that I'm getting asked right now, and that is, so have we seen all of the market volatility? Is the market going to continue down from here? Where is all of this going? And the quick answer to that is, I don't know. And I don't know because of one really important thing, and that is, when is the government going to let the majority of we the people get back to work? Because that's going to drive how big of an impact this ultimately has on the economy and on our country, and how long it potentially takes us to dig our way out of this hole that we're digging every day. And make no mistake, we are digging a hole. There was a JP Morgan Chase study that was recently done that shows that 50% of all small business owners in the United States only have 27 days worth of cash set aside for emergencies like this. So according to another economist I'd been talking to, he estimated that by April 12th, if we're still isolating in place or sheltering in place, we'll lose 3 to 4% of our small businesses in the United States because they don't have enough cash to withstand this storm. The longer this goes on, the bigger that number gets and the bigger the hole that we have to dig out of. So right now, here where I am in Northern California, we are in effect shut down until May 3rd. They just issued a new order last night restricting our movement until May 3rd. And so that's going to cost us a whole bunch of small businesses here in my local area and around the state of California. So in order to know whether the market is overpriced or underpriced, you sort of need to know how much of business is going to be wiped out forever, and that's the big unknown. If the government lets people back to work, by May 3rd, then the impact is substantially smaller than if they wait until June or July. And there is no information that the government's handing out to let us know that they're going to keep us all restricted until June or July. They just told us last night that they moved the date out a couple of weeks to May 3rd. So since we don't make investment decisions based upon what we think or what might potentially happen and what we fear might happen, we sort of have no choice but to be patient right now and see where this goes, at least for the short term. And we think you should be patient too, because if you make any decisions right now based upon the fact that you fear that the government's going to keep the country shut down for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, then if the government finds if these malaria drugs have the kind of impact that some people think that they could have, you could find that we could actually have more people going back to work sooner than later. So that's an optimistic view of it, but again, we don't know where this is going to go. And so the government's not, giving us a heads up as to how long it will last. So we just have to base our decisions based upon what we do know, not based upon what we fear. The second thing that's super important that I wanted to touch on today is a couple of things about the CARES Act. This is the law, or the bill that was put into law, $2.2 trillion of money to try to shore up the U.S. economy while we're sheltering in place. And there's a few things in there specifically for small business owners that I want, if you're a small business owner or somebody who's a small business owner, and this includes sole proprietorships, people that have a couple of employees, really any company up to 500 employees, including people that are self-employed, the CARES Act has money for you. And I'm not talking about the $1,200 check that the government's going to write to everybody, every individual that makes under $75,000 a year. This is extra money on top of that. It's in effect, if you have employees, the CARES Act has money in it to pay you to keep your employees at home but continue paying their wages. So if you need more information or you want to look this stuff up, you can go to sba.gov, that's sambravoalpha.gov/coronavirus. And there you'll find all the details on how to apply for this assistance. Now, this assistance, there's all different kinds of ways that the government wants to give people, small businesses, assistance, but it's being handled through Small Business Administration loans. Now, before you get upset and say, well, I don't want a loan, I'll just have to pay it back. The CARES Act includes legislation that as long as this money is used for payroll or rent payments, things like that for the small business, later this year, those loans will be forgiven. You don't have to pay them back, and that loan forgiveness will not be treated as taxable income to you at the federal level. At the state level, that's not been decided yet, but at least at the federal level, it will not be counted as income to you. So don't be a hero. Whether you need it or don't need it, if you're eligible, apply and get what you're eligible for. At the end, if you want to give it all back, knock yourself out. But better safe than sorry. We need this money that's being borrowed and added to our national debt to actually find its way into our economy, and that will help mitigate any potential damage that is caused because we're forcing people to stay home. Now, a couple of things that don't pertain to small business owners is in 2020, nobody's required to make a minimum distribution from their retirement account this year. So if you haven't done it or you don't need to do it, it might be worth waiting until next year to take a minimum distribution. You're not going to have to take two if you don't take one this year. Nobody has to take any minimum distribution this year if they don't want to. Another element that's sort of important is typically if you're under 59 and a half and you take money out of a retirement account, there's a 10% penalty. Well, the CARES Act waives that penalty up to distributions, I believe, of $100,000, so that if you need money out of your retirement account for whatever reason, there is no penalty if you take it out during this crisis. So keep that in mind. And again, share this information with everybody that you know, because there's a lot of people wondering, how am I going to pay my bills? Where is this all going to go? You know, and they're really concerned. It's actually causing a lot of anxiety. And having a little bit of information that shows that regardless of how we're going to pay for this stuff over the long haul, there are resources being set aside and there are rules being put in place to help mitigate the impact of putting so much of our economy on hold for a month or 2 months or, God forbid, 3 months. So if anybody has any questions about this or anything else regarding the CARES Act or their investments, you know, are they appropriately invested? What should they do now? Please reach out to me, send me an email. You know, don't put any details in any replies to this video, but, you know, just ask, you know, that I contact you and we can have a conversation. I'm happy to help anybody. You know, during this critical time, good sound financial advice is really essential to your long-term financial future. So again, I'm here to help if anybody has any questions or any needs. I am in the office every day, so I will be returning calls if anybody calls me. So that was your update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, give us a share, and I'll be back soon with another Uncommon Sense update. Stay safe, everybody. If you'd like to be the first to hear of more Uncommon Sense updates like these, please click the subscribe button below. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again.